Alright, so this is going to be another movie review. This one's called The Believers from 1987. It's an MGM Orion release. I guess it was Orion release and then it became MGM. Anyway, roll call. We've got a bevy of all-star characters here. Martin Sheen, you know who he is. He plays the lead character, Cal Jameson, some cop psychologist. Then we got Robert Loggia. He's got a resume that's even bigger than John Carradine. He's in a lot of TV shows, including but not limited to Alfred Hitchcock Presents. Then we've got the immortal Harris Yulin, of course, who was in the great movie Bad Dreams from around the same time. Another great horror flick. Then we got Jimmy Smits, who goes around New York as a Cuban victim of some satanic sect of Santeria. He's going around New York mostly that kind of thing, and yeah, pretty cool. You see him for about 5 minutes. He's only in a couple scenes, maybe two or three at most. Probably 3 scenes, I'm guessing. He's great. So this is going to be a horror / neo-noir movie from 1987. Kind of reminded me of Angel Heart just because it had all that cool voodoo shit that Hollywood comes up with in 1987. I guess voodoo was a big deal back then, but yeah, I think this one and Angel Heart came out around the same time. This isn't New Orleans voodoo. This is New York City Cuban voodoo mixed in with some Catholic idol worship. I guess that's what Santeria is, voodoo and Catholic idol worship. There's another sect of this religion, cult, whatever you want to call it, in the Sudan that didn't come from the Caribbean. Maybe it preceded the Santeria. Who knows? But they say that Santeria preceded Christianity by 1,000 years. So it's kind of confusing, all these different religions. But the Sudanese version of Santeria is uses human sacrifice instead of chicken sacrifice. So it's kind of like a Bohemian Grove shit, I guess, if you are to believe the Mark Dice and the Alex Jones of this world. Yeah, I guess they worship some kind of Sudanese child sacrifice. And of course the Santerians objected to this movie because they say, oh, we're not a violent religion. So-called religion. I guess you can argue that both Catholicism and voodoo are sort of like a cult, because number one, Catholics worship false idols like the Virgin Mary, and the Bible says there is only one God, so that's kind of weird. But I was raised as a Catholic, so I'm kind of like the main character, Martin Sheen. I'm a recovering Catholic, and of course I want to send my kid to parochial school so that he won't learn modern things from the feminist revolution of the 70s. You know, things like the pill, condoms, abortion, that kind of stuff. Divorce. Yeah, I don't want him to learn that, so I'm trying to indoctrinate him into the Catholic religion, or cult as it were, just so that he has some exposure to it. He can take it or leave it, but I just want him to be exposed as I was. Anyway, I'm digressing. So Martin Sheen is a recovering Catholic. He's kind of like a cop psychologist in New York City, and he says he's not really practicing the Catholic religion, which is kind of 80s way of saying, yeah, I was raised that way. but I don't go to church anymore, that kind of stuff. Um, and within the first 5 minutes, his wife gets electrocuted by a coffee machine. I doubt it if they got married in a Catholic church. Um, Probably not. Um, and then the credits roll. You know, the scroll from the opening credits, and there's some weird voodoo shit going on in the background. Uh, so the Sudanese priest dude appears in New York City. I guess he's the devil incarnate, or he's into black magic, whatever. He's some kind of priest that rose to power after some kid was sacrificed in the Sudan. I'm not really spoiling the ending, but there's a plot twist. So whenever I say horror noir in the same breath, or whenever I say plot twist in the same breath, you know this movie kicks ass. And if I'm comparing it to Angel Heart, it doubly kicks ass. So yeah, that's all I've got to say. But instead of Robert De Niro with his long fingernails and his Michael Jackson eyes, you got this Sudanese dude who kind of he's got weird looking eyeballs, and his face melts, and he casts weird spells. Like, for instance, the coolest part of the movie is that he casts a spell on Martin Sheen's girlfriend's powder puff piece, and so she's like doing this to her face in the mirror, trying to look like Barbara Walters or something, and the evil spell makes this zit on her face, which becomes like a big red boil, and then it pops out, and all these spiders come out. I guess the black magic version of Santeria is that they're able to put insects and bugs inside of your body. They put snakes inside of Jimmy Smits' intestines, and he can't get them out. That's why he's always going, "Ah!" and then Michael Douglas's girlfriend has the same problem with spiders inside of her face. It's pretty cool. Quite unique, I might add. So the director is the guy who did Midnight Cowboy, and the movie's based on a book called The Religion by Nicholas Condi. I hope I'm pronouncing that right. This movie made a lot of money, and it was a really big upscale movie, kind of like I'm trying to think. Basic Instinct. Yeah, it's kind of like that. It has high production values, if you know what I mean. And big time names, big time stars from television, and Martin Sheen, of course. They must have paid him a small fortune to make this. So there's that. Anyway, so getting back to the story. After the electrocution voodoo shit, so Martin Sheen is trying to get Jimmy Smits to fess up to what all this religious cockamamie shit is all about, and Jimmy Smits witnesses the first child sacrifice, and there's another one somewhere in New York, around Twin Towers before they fell down, like on the harbor, where there's a second child sacrifice, and I guess there has to be 3 to complete the circle. And guess whose kid the third child sacrifice is for? Yeah, confusing plot. I don't know why they have to keep killing kids. I guess to make the Sudanese priest happy. I don't know. I guess once you're a child sacrifices once you're a child sacrificer, always a child sacrificer. It's kind of like being a what do you call that? Sexual harassment type person. Uh, one time, my former boss told me, once you do it, you always do it. You never stop. So it's like a repeat offender type thing. Anyway, getting back to the story, I'm digressing too much. So yeah, there's this movie is hell long. It's like an hour 50 minutes. It takes place in New York City with a bunch of crazy Cubans and weird chicken sacrifices, child sacrifices. I talked to you about the spiders and the snakes and shit like that. So pretty cool flick, man. Um, the ending starts about 20 minutes early, so I don't want to spoil that. But if Terror for Tom or the other Australian dude, forget his name, or Steve hasn't seen this, you definitely should check it out, dudes. Yeah, you guys are my homies, and this thing is like my Bible. This right here. Yeah! Watch all the... If you're horror fans are watching this, you need to get this book right here. These are the horror movies to watch. I mean, if you could get this book and pick all the horror movies out of here, I think you'll be very pleased like I am. Cool, laters.